Hi guys, can you imagine an uninhabited endless desert of snow? It looks like I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm actually on the frozen river. If I turn my camera around, you'll see a completely different view. I'm in one of the Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous Okrug's remote villages, Panaevsk, which is on the Ob River bank. Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous Okrug is one of the Russian territories and also the largest oil and gas producing region in Russia. Panaevsk is a small village located within the Arctic Circle with a population of 2,500 people. Life here isn't like in other Russian regions. People get to the village in winter by jeeps, all-terrain vehicles or helicopters. In other seasons on a ferry, also in the helicopters. If you want to learn how I got to Panaevsk, watch my previous video by the link top right. The sun usually goes up at 10 a.m. and goes down at 2 or 3 p.m. in the depth of winter, in October, November, December. On the 22nd of December, it's the shortest daylight hours, only 2 hours of daylight. In winter, the temperature might drop 48 degrees Celsius below zero, and in summer, it might get 25 degrees Celsius above zero. I've been in Panaevsk for 3 weeks. The first week was tough. I couldn't get used to a sudden nightfall, and I wanted the light on all the time. Most of the time the weather was overcast. This place doesn't make me feel at home, but for other people, this place is the best place in the whole world. The main indigenous inhabitants of this region are the Nenets people. They call themselves children of reindeer. The word Nenets is translated from the Nenets language as a real human being. In the Russian Federation, they have a status of indigenous small-numbered peoples. The Nenets people are a nomadic nation that depends heavily on reindeer herding to support their lifestyle. Using reindeer as a draft animal throughout the year enables them to cover great distances. They build their homes and make their clothes from reindeer skin. They bred the Samoyed dog to help herd their reindeer because they are well adapted to the Arctic conditions. They have thick fur that protects them from frostbite, and they have thick fur even between their fingers that allows them to run on ice effortlessly and keep their paws warm. Most of the Nenets people still live in the Arctic tundra. They visit the village on holidays or for picking up their children when the school time is over in spring. The government of the Soviet Union tried to force the nomadic Nenets people to settle down permanently. They were forced to settle in villages and their children were educated in state boarding schools. The population of this village consists of the Nenets people whose ancestors were settled down by the government and newcomers who came to make money for a living or retire earlier. Working 15 years in the far north is enough to retire, and your pension will be much higher than in other Russian regions. Snowmobiles allow the Nenets people to cover long distances for a short period of time. But globalization allowed them to cover longer distances than they used to. And a lot of Nenets people buy snowmobiles, mainly nomads. It's not cheap, but it's worth it. In summer or in spring, they change their snowmobiles to quad bikes. I managed to get an interview with a man who lives in tundra. Как вас зовут?
Меня зовут Сартет Майма.
А сколько вам лет?
Мне 26.
26 лет. А вы живете в поселке или в тундре?
Да, в тундре живу.
В тундре живете? А вы приезжаете часто в поселок?
Ну, по надобности.
Ага. А по каким причинам приезжаете?
Ну, поломка техники.
Ага.
Ну, за продуктами.
За продуктами, да? А у вас есть мечта?
Ну, не знаю. У меня вроде нет мечты пока.
Что для вас значит север?
Север.
Угу.
Север это холод, я считаю.
Вам
Ну,
нравится?
естественно.
Вы выросли, вам нравится жить здесь?
Ну, мне... Ну да, мне нравится.
Нравится жить здесь,
Да.
да? А что самое главное в жизни, как вы думаете?
Цель, которой я добиваюсь.
Угу. Ну, дети важны для вас?
Ну, конечно.
Ага. А здоровье?
Ну, здоровье.
А деньги важны
Дети.
для вас?
Ну, деньги, конечно, важны. Но мы
Мгм.
на них двигаемся. Каждое движение это деньги.
Ага.
В тундре это у нас.
А чем вы занимаетесь?
Но я пока работаю
Ага. Кем вы работаете?
пастухом.
Пасете оленей,
Оленей. Да.
да?
2 года уже я.
У вас много оленей?
Ну, у меня лично не очень.
Ага. А у вас есть дети?
Да, есть.
Сколько у вас детей?
2.
2 ребенка. Ага. А планируете еще больше детей?
Ну, как получится.
Как получится? А сколько вы хотели бы?
Ну, не знаю, 2-3.
2-3?
Да,
Не больше?
да.
Хорошо. People have to adjust to harsh climate conditions not only to survive, but thrive. There are only several administrative buildings in the village: cultural center, outpatient department, fire station, police station, airport for helicopters, and a boarding school, which was built to educate the Nenes children. According to the Russian education laws, everyone has to get an education. The Nenes people who live in tundra send their children once they turn 6 or 7 years to the village. They live in the dorm from September till April or May. 500 students attend the school. Half of them are Nenes nomads children. 90% of teachers are immigrants. They immigrate from other regions. Being a teacher is a well-paid profession in Panayevsk. The government does its best to keep the teachers working and provide them with social benefits. It attracts teachers from other regions and even pays all kinds of expenses such as utility bills, one-way tickets, and so on. But nowadays, more and more young people whose parents are based in tundra prefer getting an education and a good job instead of returning home to their parents. Some of them come back to Panayevsk to find a decent job and get married. I managed to get another interview with a woman who used to live in tundra, but now she lives in Panayevsk.
Меня зовут Ландо Марта Хилтовна.
Сколько вам лет?
Ой, 59 будет скоро, 15 марта.
Чем вы занимаетесь?
Мы с мужем всю жизнь провели кочевой образ жизни, работали в совхозе. Работали 30 с лишним лет, а сейчас на служебном пенсии.
Во сколько вы вышли на пенсию?
Мы обычно выходим, как в трудных условиях, чтобы 45.
Вы всю жизнь жили в тундре и сейчас переехали в поселок?
Всю жизнь кочевали, как мы с мужем живем.
Сколько лет вы уже в поселке живете?
14. И в школе работаю уже 10 лет.
Ага. А кем вы в школе работаете?
Уборщицей устроилась. Мы с мужем живем уже 43 года.
43 года. Это очень много. А у вас есть дети?
Да, у меня есть дочка и 2 сына.
Ага.
И сейчас у меня внуки 10, 5 внучек и 5 внуков.
Ага. Вы одной большой семьей живете, да?
Да. Летом в одной большой семье, когда мы ставим чум возле поселка, мы все лето в чуме живем.
Вам нравится больше в поселке жить или в тундре жить?
Мне кажется, без разницы, что в тундре, что и в поселке. Одно и то же.
А что для вас самое главное в вашей жизни, как вы думаете?
Но самое главное, чтобы все были здоровы, чтобы внуки учились. Но самое главное, чтобы не было войны, чтобы было мирное небо над головой.
Как вы думаете, деньги, они играют важную роль в жизни ненцев сейчас?
Мне кажется, нет. Денежки как вода. Сколько ни работай, сколько ни зарабатывай. Самое главное – семья. Ули малым боем ты на сенсгая, не на сенсгая, саю юнгоя, сомбовны елихова.
This is our X-ray truck. It was designed for medical checkup of the people who live in remote villages like Panaivsk. And if you want to have an X-ray to see if everything is all right with your lungs, you need to go there. If you have an emergency like giving birth, heart attack, or appendicitis, you need to call helicopter. Across our outpatient department, we have a church. Most of the time, the church is locked, but sometimes a priest conducts a service once in a blue moon. Okay, so let's check whether it's closed or not. Yeah, unfortunately it's closed. This is our gym. It's totally free. You can hit the gym whenever you want to. It's a paradise for those who are tired of paying for gym membership. This is our bakery. We buy here pizza, bread, or apple pies. So let's come in for a moment and find out what they got for us. Even if the food choice isn't big, but I'm sure that it's made with love. The bakery was opened up a few years ago. Thank God it's not far away from the building where I live in. I live in this building on the 3rd floor. Almost all the buildings in Panaivsk are built on stilts. It allows the people to keep the houses warm, and it's impossible to excavate ground before building a foundation because of the permafrost. Same here with heating pipelines, they go above ground. We should always try to find positive things no matter where we are. In Panayotsk, life is easier in its own way. You don't carry the burden of making difficult decisions every day. You don't get stuck in a traffic jam on the way to your work. If you are a big fan of a frugal lifestyle, it's the best place to go into it. I like watching the sun go down. It amazes me that people are happy and continue living their best lives even in such cold place. The moral of the story, it isn't the places that grace the man, but men the places. People here don't chase illusional stuff like super expensive cars, fashionable clothing, luxurious lifestyle. They don't care about being the most and the best on Instagram. These people are really strong, they value simple things and enjoy everyday life, whatever it throws at them. North, for the Nenets people, it's not a territory on a map, not a geographical term. North is their home. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel. See you next time.